What's up, y'all? It's Kristen.
And it's Myra.
And we are just confused. Welcome back to a new episode.
Let's get into it.
So this week we decided to kind of keep things interesting, and we're going to just be talking about our generation, what it's like to be a millennial, what that really means, and pretty much just build off of that.
Yeah, and how we grew up, and because we grew up in very different households. So
Oh, for sure.
It's very fascinating how we still became best friends with the way we
Right.
were raised.
Literally.
We were very different. We may sound the same, but we were raised pretty differently.
Do we sound the same?
I feel like we do. Maybe because we're both millennials and we're both...
Yeah,
like,
I
in
feel like
these
we have very
movements.
equal mindsets.
Yeah.
Even though, like, there are clear things that we differ on, we have pretty much the same
Yeah,
mindset.
like the values. I
Yeah,
think.
exactly. Like, we got to our values in different ways, but we hold the same values.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But, like, I remember whenever we were growing up, in my house, it was like, if I had grades below a B, then everything was cut off from me. Like, I couldn't go to the park, I couldn't play outside, and I just remember, like, getting in so much trouble. I was forced to study my timetables, and, like, if I had anything drop below a B, then, you know, I wouldn't get to play on my phone, or I wouldn't get to be on the computer, or let alone if I broke my phone, I wouldn't get a new phone. I bring this up all the time.
She's throwing shade to me.
Because I remember when we were in, like, what was that, like the 6th grade, right?
Yeah, like
We were in,
seven,
like,
6th or 7th.
Like 6th or 7th grade, and Myra had a phone, and that she had just gotten, like, not even 6 months ago, and then broke it. And whenever she came back to school the next day, I was expecting her to get in trouble and that she wasn't going to have a phone for a while because she would have to, like, do chores around the house and earn a new phone. This bitch came into school with the very first iPhone ever. And I was like, how does that work? How do you break a phone and then you get upgraded? Like,
It was never on purpose, though. I completely disagree with it, too. But I was getting a better fun out of it, so I never complained.
oh, 100%. Like,
Right.
I never blamed you. I always just thought it was super bizarre.
Yeah, no, trust me, I did, too. The way I was raised, it was more like mom versus dad in my house. Like, my mom was very, like, as long as you know, pass your classes, you're fine. But my dad was like, no, you need to make A's all the time. Like, only A's, only A's. But I was terrible at school. Like, I was so lazy, I didn't turn anything in. I didn't understand a lot of stuff. So I never really took the time to put in the work to change anything I was doing.
Yeah. I think I got my first cell phone when I was in 5th grade, and I only got it. I remember my parents telling me, like, never use this phone, blah, 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 because they only wanted me to use it since I was going to be at the house by myself for 30 minutes because of the bus. So, like, I would get dropped off at 3:30 by the bus, but my brother wouldn't get home till 4. Mm-hmm. So they were like, you're going to be home by yourself for 30 full minutes every day. Do you think you can handle it? And I'm like, mm-hmm. And they were like, okay, well, here's the phone.
What did you do for half an hour?
So I didn't have a house key because I wasn't responsible enough to have one. Like,
remember that.
Yeah. So my dad had, like, decked out the garage, and we would leave. This is so not safe. Like, we would leave the garage door unlocked, and then my dad put, like, a little TV with an antenna out there for me, and then he put a microwave, and then we had a garage fridge, and in the garage fridge was, like, Hot Pockets and drinks and stuff. So if I was hungry, I could go in there. There's, like, a desk with a TV, can warm up a Hot Pocket, and I would just sit there.
That is so cute.
Yeah, but when I would be in the garage, I would lock the door because stranger danger. And then Aaron would knock. He would do, like, a secret knock to let me know it was him and to open it. So it was like a safety precaution. I mean, granted, they could have just busted that rinky-dink door open because it wasn't very secure. And I'm pretty sure the lock was from, like, the fucking 1970s.
Yeah.
But it made my parents feel better, and that's what we did. But I felt like a boss. I was like, oh, hell yeah, I got my little girl cave out here. Oh my God. All my Hot Pockets. Like, I would text my mom, running low on my Hot Pockets, and she's like, stop using the phone.
What did I say?
And she's like, but I'll pick up ham and cheese on the way. Like, and I'm like, sounds good. This is such a millennial-ass conversation. Like, my first cell phone.
Right.
Like, generations before us could never talk about this shit. What were your chores? Come home?
Kristen, I swear to God, we're grown. Quit throwing shade at what I did as a child.
Come home, turn off the light, make Kool-Aid for the boys.
Oh my God. I had to do the dishes also. I never did them. I don't
Dude,
remember.
I remember you never did that.
I don't remember a day that I actually did them before I left. I would always just say, yeah, they're done, and I would leave.
No, 100%. And then when I would come over, your mom would yell at you in front of me.
Yeah, it was really, every single time I would come home, she's like, my dad told you. And I was like, oh, I forgot, sorry.
Literally.
But like, I texted you, I was done. But yeah, it was the dishes, my bedroom, and I needed to, like, make myself breakfast. But I think that was pretty much it. but I didn't do the dishes, and my room was always closed, so they never saw it. So I just would lie all the time.
See, I had a see-through door.
Oh, yeah.
So there wasn't really
You
getting
had
around
windows
that.
on that door.
Yeah, I had a see-through ass door growing up as a kid.
They were not messing around.
They really weren't. Like, the see-through door was cool and all, but, like, whenever I was trying to figure out how to masturbate, like, it wasn't cool.
And you had no curtains.
I had no, I wasn't allowed to.
Right.
So I remember I
I
started,
never thought
like,
about that. How did you even find yourself?
dude, it was so scary. I don't like going on things that cause, like, adrenaline rushes, because I had enough of that as a kid learning how to masturbate in my room. Like, fuck a roller coaster. You have a see-through door as an 11-year-old. Like, and then talk to me. Like,
Oh my
whatever.
God.
It was just kind of wild. Like, I remember watching Tila Tequila. And just
Yes!
being like-
Oh my god, that's when I knew it was bi. I saw her and I was like, I like that.
I liked it whenever the guys would do the competitions, because she would always be like, okay, so this is what we're doing today. We're going to do a relay race. Men, take your shirts off. And they would all, like, do the slow motion strip. And I'm like, yes.
No, I was, as soon as the girls come on, I was like, okay, now I'm interested. We had very different views.
Such different childhoods. But yeah, so that was wild. I honestly forgot that I had a see-through door.
Me too, that's so funny.
I'm pretty sure my mom watched Freaky Friday with me with Lindsay Lohan, and whenever they were like, privacy is a privilege, Anna, my mom was like, yes, get Kristen a see-through ass door.
Terrible.
Yeah, so I had no choice but for my room to be clean. But I remember I tried really hard to, like, put stickers and, like, Jesse McCartney posters on my door to, like, make it look private. But my parents would always just be like, what are you doing in there? And I'm like, putting my pants on.
Sweaty.
I was doing cardio, that's why I'm breathing so hard.
They're like, yeah, I'm just working out now. I'm just
Yeah, Turbo Jam.
working out at midnight before school. You're fucking on it.
Just want to be fit.
God. You had a lot of chores growing up too, though. You had way more than me.
Yeah, but I, like, barely ever did them. I remember my chores were to clean the dishes, put the dishes away, and then once a week I would have to cook a dinner, or I would have to, like, learn how to cook something once a week with my mom. I had to keep my bedroom clean, and I had to separate the laundry. So I didn't have to do the laundry, I just had to separate them into the hallway. And then, like, every now and then my parents would make me, like, sweep, but I'm a really shitty sweeper. Like, even to this day I can't sweep to save my life. Like, I'm really bad at it.
Oh my god.
I don't know why. Like,
So
I
it's
just
not that hard.
I just want to use every broom like a push broom and just, like, drag it everywhere. Like, that's what a broom's supposed to do.
Absolutely not.
So I just don't understand why it doesn't do that. Like, if I have to just do tiny sweeps every 3 fucking millimeters of space, that's irritating. Like, I might as well just vacuum the fucking floor. Like, that's more efficient to me than doing these 3 millimeter sweeps
Yeah.
every 2.5 seconds. Like, I'm just not into that. I don't know. I just feel like my parents did really prepare me for my future, because, like, my personal self-confidence and, like, they prepared my mindset and, like, who I am as a person. But as far as, like, figuring out what the fuck I wanted to do with my life, I felt like I just got way more confused because of my parents.
Really?
Yeah, because, like, growing up, this is very stereotypical, and it's not because I'm Asian, but, like, growing up, my parents really wanted me to be a doctor. And it wasn't because we're Asian and we're money hungry, but it's because the medical field is one of the most stable job markets and one of the most lucrative job markets there is. And, you know, parents always want that for your kid. I feel like any ethnicity always tells you if you're a doctor, you're a badass, you know? Like,
Yeah.
you know? So for the longest time growing up, I always told people, like, oh, I'm going to be a pediatrician. I'm going to be a pediatrician. And I fucking hate kids. It's not that I hate kids. I mean, I don't get along with kids very well. So it's like, if you know me, you knew that that really wasn't what I wanted to do. And whenever I got into, you know, writing and finding myself creatively, it was hard for me to tell my parents that I wanted to take a different track than what they wanted for me. So I think that confused me a lot, because I was like, well, I've always said that I wanted to be a pediatrician, and it took me a long time to figure out that I've always said that because it's what my parents wanted me to say, or it's what they wanted to hear.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell my parents I wanted to switch my major from medicine to business, from business to writing, until I was a fucking junior. So I don't know. It was just pretty intense. But, like, for everything else, I think that they prepared me pretty well. Like, I can cook on my own. I can clean on my own. I don't need a man. I like my man, but
Right.
like, I don't need him.
I was waiting for that.
You know, like, I know how to take care of animals. Like, you know, like, I can get by. and I know how to clean a bathtub without ruining it. So I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah, so you're pretty set off. Mm-hmm. My parents were really supportive in whatever job I wanted to pick. And
Yes.
I was the most random ass child in whatever job I felt like.
Yes, bitch, I know. Fucking, dude, just in our first year of friendship, you told me like 5 different things.
Yeah.
I remember at one point you told me that you wanted to be a vintage photographer. What does that even mean? That you were going to time travel to the 60s?
Look, when I said vintage photographer,
You meant sepia filter.
No. I meant those fucking pictures on Tumblr where it's black and white and the bicycle is red.
You're so annoying.
That's what I wanted to do as a living. I was like, that's my calling.
You didn't have a camera.
Exactly. I've never touched a camera in real life. My phone camera sucked. The only pictures that look good on my phone were of grass when I would walk home from school. And I'm like, yep, this is my future.
Oh my
So I
God.
wanted to be a photographer. I wanted to be a pastry chef because I learned how to make cookies from
remember that.
fucking, what is that? Like,
Easy Bake Oven?
no, the brand. Oh my God.
Betty Crocker.
Pillsbury Doughboy. Yeah.
Oh.
And Betty Crocker. All those. What else?
Oh, are you looking for some other ones? Because I can name a few. I remember you told me you want
Yeah.
to be a seamstress. Because you were like, I know how to make
Yes.
my own clothes. I could do it. Bitch, we only made pillows.
I made pillows and I would hem my pants sometimes, but like
Yeah.
very badly.
So bad.
Yeah.
And then you also told me that you wanted to be a music festival
Yes.
creator.
Okay. No, that was in high school. I thought I was very serious about that because I took classes about marketing, whatever I could like seek out in my high school. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, it's feasible. I can do that. I love traveling, but it's like, bitch, you never even volunteered at a festival.
Right.
And I was 16 and I could, and I was trying to go to ACL to volunteer, but I was not creative enough to think about what the fuck to put in a festival.
Yeah.
To make it fun for 3 days.
Yeah.
And have it be, like.
I think that's what a lot of
well-known.
people don't think about is like whenever people think of branding stuff, they're just like, oh yeah, that's marketing. But like that's not what marketing is. Like
Yeah.
marketing is one very specific, it's like to get the message out there. That's what marketing is. But creating the message, that's advertising. And then creating the backings and everything in between, that's event coordinating.
Right. So I had no idea what my self-proclaimed job title would even
Literally,
contain.
yeah.
But I would think about it and like, okay, there's no schooling for this because it doesn't exist. So I'm going to give up because this is just a dream.
Yeah.
And I figured, let me just volunteer somewhere and then I'll see. But I never did because I lost interest in festivals really quickly. Mm-hmm. So I gave up on that. And then I wanted to be a doctor. I
Yeah.
wanted to be a medical examiner, which is my
Yeah, I
most
was about
recent.
to say that. And then you wanted to be in cosmetology. You can't skip over that
Oh,
chapter
yeah.
of
I
your
went to
life.
whole school. I went to beauty school.
Yeah, you went to beauty school. Beauty school dropout in
Yep.
real life.
Yep.
No
I went-
song.
I did it for half of the term and I ended up just dropping out and I told my parents I feel really bad for making you spend all this money because it was expensive. And they were just like, don't apologize for choosing a career that you thought you would end up in. It's okay. Let's just move on to the next one. What else do you want to do? Let's pay for it again. And I was like, wow, okay,
That's so supportive.
it is supportive, but it's like, I feel bad for making them waste their money. But my mom tells me to this day, it's not wasting my money. It's just supporting you and what you want to do. Mm-hmm. And I was very adamant in the beginning. And I realized very soon after it wasn't my thing, but I stayed there because I needed to like make their money worth it.
Right.
Because I'm not certified in anything. So that money literally just went down the drain. Because I can do 2 haircuts. And that's it.
I honestly still wouldn't even let you do my haircut.
I wouldn't either.
I let you tweeze my eyebrows though.
That was before cosmetology school.
No, you told me in cosmetology school I learned that these ones are supposed to hurt the most. And then you're supposed to go this way. And I was like, damn, she really knows her shit about eyebrows. So you were just lying to me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That was on YouTube.
Okay. Interesting. That's just crazy.
But yeah, I did all that. So my parents are really supportive, but I think
I mean, cosmetology
that-
school wasn't a complete waste. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it wasn't a complete waste because you made some really great friends from it. You met Lindsay.
Yeah, Lindsay's
We
one of
love
my
Lindsay.
best friends.
Yeah, and we love her.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, she's got a good head on her shoulders, you know? And I honestly feel like if you didn't have that creative outlet in high school, like you maybe would have hung out with the wrong crowds or something.
Yeah, that's true, because I was in a dual credit program.
Yeah.
So that took up like 2 or 3 periods out of my high school days.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, you're right.
Plus, like, especially in our high school, so many people from our high school took complete different paths than what we thought they would take.
Like
Not that they're necessarily
getting
bad
married.
paths. Yeah, like there's so many people from our high school that are married.
And having babies.
Freaking that guy that we all had a crush on in middle school that was in our friend group that we all individually took turns.
Oh.
You said we couldn't say names, so I'm not saying names.
Oh my God. He got married so quickly.
I mean, he's in the military now.
He moved away, joined the military, was like, you know what? In order to be in the military, I have to marry somebody.
Yeah.
And
like, we
fucking did
get
that.
it. Like, when you're in the military and you're married, you get paid significantly more, and, like, all the power to you. But also, like, do you really want to marry the person you just met at Carrabba's? Like, come on.
Oh my God, I know. They were like dating for a year?
Maybe.
Less than?
Maybe. I don't know.
And we were 18 at this point.
Yeah,
'Cause
so
we
it
had
was like
just
wild to
graduated.
us. Yeah.
Oh my
But it
God.
was crazy because I want to say less than a year before we found out he got married, he hit me up and was like,
Yes!
because he moved away to fucking Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And then he hit me up and it was so random because I hadn't spoken to him in years.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, like, it's me. If I were to come to Texas, like, if I were to come back to Houston, would you want to hang out with me? Like, go on a date with me? And I'm like,
Yeah,
fucking.
he said the word date.
No. I was like, this isn't the 7th grade anymore. Like, I don't think that the skater look is hot. Like,
Right.
that was
Oh
so.
my God. Yeah, I remember that was the first person we saw that like got married on their own.
Yeah, like that we knew.
Yeah, because we saw people get pregnant and have
I
babies.
saw people get boob jobs before graduation. Like, I remember some.
What?
Yeah, there were a couple girls at like the Ridge School in our district, and I remember they posted on Facebook like, "Yeah, my dad didn't buy me a car for my 16th. I got a boob job instead." Dead ass. And I was like,
I don't
"That's-
remember that.
That can't be real." But I remember seeing like everybody posting about it, and I never saw her like once say no, it's not true. Like da 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 da.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like that's wild.
That
to
is
me.
wild. Oh my God. I couldn't even get a tattoo, let alone
I
modify
couldn't get my
boobs.
ears pierced. I couldn't get my doubles pierced.
That's true.
Literally, my parents were so they weren't crazy. They were just like very strict, and they wanted to make sure that I was sure of my decisions.
Yeah.
So whenever I was like, yeah, I want to get my seconds pierced on my ears, they were like, okay, you can do that, but you're going to write me a 3-page paper on the pros and cons and the risks and like what it's like to have piercings in the workplace. And I want it to look like a real school paper. Mm-hmm. MLA format, 12-point font times New Roman, double space. And I'm like,
On it.
okay. So I wrote it up, they read it, and they were like, okay, you can go get it. But they did that for every major decision that I wanted to do. Like when I got my cartilage pierced, whenever I thought about getting my belly button pierced.
Mm-hmm.
They just always made me do that so that way I knew the pros and cons. And like I
mean,
knew
that's
the
really
risks of
smart.
everything.
I was that bitch that did it behind my parents' back.
Yeah.
Like I remember I was talking to this girl that I was really, really into, and she wanted a nose piercing, and I was like, I want one too. I wanted my septum for the longest time. And my parents knew about it. It was never a secret. I would send them pictures and be like, look, I want this one. And they'd be like, no, that looks ugly. You're never doing that. And I was like, okay, you know what? Fine. So I waited till I turned 18, and then I was like, okay, now I can legally do whatever I want. I was that dumbass bitch.
Oh my God, no.
And then I went on a date with this girl, and we were just like, yeah, let's go get piercings. Fuck it. So we both went, signed our waiver, showed them our IDs, and then I just got my septum pierced. And I remember I sent a picture to my parents.
You sent a picture to everybody, bitch.
Yeah, but first my parents. And I was like, look what I did. And they were like, that looks so bad. And I'm like, but I got it.
Yeah.
But
I remember
I
you
was
sent me
really
like
into it.
so many pictures, and I hated the way you looked with the septum piercing. I thought it looked
Yeah.
so bad. So I just didn't reply.
I remember that. I knew you didn't like it. So I told the girl I was seeing, I was like, okay, I know she hates it. Like, this is my best friend, but I love it. And I still love it to this day. Like, I see pictures from like throwbacks and I still want to redo it, but it hurts too much. And I think I now see it on me because like Lindsay got me fake ones because I know that I miss it, or she knows that I miss it. So I put them in and I look so weird now. And I feel like I look different. I feel like I don't look the same.
Yeah.
So I think that's why, but I did like having it back then because it gave me a lot of confidence. And my thing is my
If that makes sense.
mentality, like my base personality and mentality from when I was 14 has never left. I've just gotten more mature, but I've always wanted that piercing since I was 14.
Yeah.
And I could never do it back then because my parents wouldn't let me. So I figured
Yeah.
now when I have the time to myself, like at the age that I am, then I can do it on my own. So even though my personality developed into like more of a girly girl and like more like getting a job and going to school, I still felt like that's what I've always wanted and I could finally do it for myself.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's
Because I
just
never
like,
matched it like personality to piercing. I would just be like, this is my interest and that's it.
yeah. I guess like to me, it was just like when we were both 14, like we both wanted to get all these piercings and like do all this shit to our hair. And like you actually did it and I didn't because I'm
Right.
Asian and I wasn't allowed. But like when I grew out of that, I literally grew out of it. And like my base personality is still there from 14, but I understand that having piercings like that make you look unprofessional in the work that I want to get into. So it's like I grew out of that phase of my life, and so I just assumed that you did too. But yeah, so that's why whenever you got it, I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's another thing that makes Kristen and I so different, is that I don't see it as a step down of maturity. I just see it as a form of expression, no matter how old you are.
Yeah,
because that's how I get my, like, I've wanted tattoos for the longest time, and the only reason why I'm not getting them anymore is because I don't know what to get.
Yeah.
But if I did know what I wanted to get, I would still want to tattoo my arms or my back or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I just don't know what.
But you also are in a work field where that's okay. Like, I don't think that anything is unacceptable because...
I mean, piercings aren't really acceptable in the medical field.
Well...
Like, I couldn't have a septum at work at all.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, like, I'm saying, like, tattoos and stuff, like, it's way more acceptable because you're not dealing with business-to-business professionals or, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see
like,
that.
in the work that I work in, I couldn't even have big hoops. Mm-hmm. Like, I couldn't have big studs on. Like, I literally had my uppers telling me I couldn't wear a certain lipstick shade, or that I shouldn't have my eyelashes too long because it looks unprofessional. So it's just like, that stuff has been put into my head because of the field that I know that I'm going to work in.
Yeah.
Or that I hope to work in, which sounds shitty because I don't want to ever work in a work field that tells me how I can and cannot be. But here I am.
Right.
So, but actually no, here I am not, because I left that field.
Yeah.
So.
What field was that?
Sports.
Just so they're in the loop.
Honestly, I feel like I could do a whole episode on shading sports.
Okay, tune in next week.
Literally, I could do it because I have so much animosity built up towards sports, specifically Houston sports teams that won World Series. Like, I could go off. I really could. And it's because, like, there are so many people that have the mentality that's like, oh my gosh, I work in sports and this job is so cool, it's so unique, it's so specific that I can do, like, I have the opportunity to really be something that other people don't. Like, they don't get to see this, they don't get to be behind the scenes. So it makes them put up with a lot of shit that you shouldn't have to put up with in a workplace regardless.
Yeah.
That's what I did for 3 years, and I was like,
And even being in 2019, I feel like that hasn't changed.
Oh, no, without a doubt. There, like, to this day, I can name countless employees that say the exact same things that I do about the organization, but are still collecting a check from them. Mm-hmm. And it's like, a check's a check, and I respect that, but also, like, you gotta respect yourself to a certain degree and just say enough's enough and leave. Mm-hmm. But that's for another episode, But I do want to talk about, like, stereotypes in general, specifically about millennials, because I feel like we got to clear some shit up as millennials.
Yeah, we have to explain some stuff.
Right. So there's a lot of people that watch my YouTube channel and they are not within the millennial category.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a lot of the stuff I say surprises them because it's not normal for them to hear.
Yeah.
But in our generation,
it's very normal.
So casual. It's like, okay, that bitch is just talking. Like, why is everyone thinking she's funny? But I am funny, so you're right. But I heard the other day in the teacher's lounge that someone was just like, isn't it, like, annoying to be a millennial? And I'm like, no, it's worked out pretty well for me so far.
Forward.
Right. And they were like, well, because, like, millennials are so arrogant, they're so dependent on technology. And it's like, bitch, name one person who's not dependent on technology.
Right. Like you don't know where you're going unless you have your phone pulled up.
Exactly. It's like, I understand you think that millennials are always glued to their phone, but it's like, you have to understand that we grew up with the technology, and now everything we do has technology built into the interface of it.
Right.
Like, you can't get away from it in school, in the workplace. Like, you always have to one up everything because of the society that we're built in. Mm-hmm. Like, now that we have so much technology, education and, like, certificates, they're accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
So it's like, growing up in our generation, we have to maintain competitive, and our edge over everybody else is that we can handle technology a lot better than a lot of other people.
Yeah, and that's why our resumes look a lot better compared to someone who's, like, over 45.
Exactly. Not even over 45. The other day I was at work, and there's this woman who's an administrative assistant. I hope she doesn't listen to this. But there's a woman that's an administrative assistant, which basically means your sole job is to learn how to work spreadsheets, scheduling, and emails and things like that. She had no idea how to take a lot of pictures from Google Drive and then save them to her computer. Can you imagine that? There was like over 200 photos and she was going in one by one, right click, download, save as, file name, save.
Yeah. You have to be good with technology.
Right.
to
And
have
so
a good
I literally
job.
showed up, I was like, yo, what are we doing over here? And she's like, I had to save all these photos. There's over 250 photos. It's going to take me forever. I'm like, or you can just click the button that says download all.
Right.
Like, I didn't understand. And she's not even old. Like, she's relatively young. I want to say she's like 26. Like,
Okay,
late
that's
20s, early 30s.
That is a personal problem because I feel like 26-year-olds are still considered millennials, aren't they?
So it'd have to be 97 to 87.
Probably. So that's a whole 10 years. So
Yeah, something like that.
27 would be, or 26 would be a millennial.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
I'm thinking
sad.
29 is a cutoff. 20,
Yeah.
28. I don't know. We gotta look this up.
Honestly,
Well,
I
totally-
feel like
think-
there's a timetable.
I think
on
if you have to say
Google.
20 in front of your age, you should know how to work a fucking laptop.
Google Drive.
Literally anything with a button.
I know. But it's like,
But I agree with you. We grew up with the technology we have, so it's harder to live without it when we were raised with it.
yeah.
And,
That's
like-
why I don't like the stereotype when people are like, oh, millennials can't do anything without their phones. And it's like, what can you do without a phone now?
Right. There's not a lot of options out there anymore.
Literally ordering food, go through the app, download the app for points, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
When you go to a restaurant, you do it through your phone. Or like at the fucking restaurants where they have like the little,
The kiosk.
yeah, the kiosk thing. So you can just pay at the table. You don't have to talk to anybody.
Right. It's a convenience factor.
Right.
And it's helping everybody out, not just millennials.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it's not even us choosing it. It's
Right.
that it's always that way.
It's being new inventions.
It's being like
Yeah.
integrated into everybody's business interface now.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not just millennials that are addicted to technology, it's the whole fucking society.
Right. It's just the time. It's not
Right.
millennials.
It's just millennials know how to fucking use it. That's the only difference, is because we can read things.
Yeah. And I think the we're arrogant part is more so like we're teaching ourselves more things instead of learning it from other people or learning it from other sources.
Yeah. Well, I think people are saying that millennials are arrogant not because of like we can do stuff, but because like on Instagram everybody's always posting pictures of yourself and like you're always
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
like, more
that's what they mean
narcissistic.
by arrogant. So I mean, I kind of agree with that because there are some people on Facebook where it's just like, okay, bitch, we get it. Stop posting about your car. You know,
Yeah.
like we're so proud that you bought a used 2006 Nissan Altima, but like it's time to move on. Like, that was 3 months ago, Stacy, and you need to let it go. So, I mean, I kind of understand that, but there are also a great deal of people that I know that don't have social media.
Yeah.
Like, I was going to name names, but we're not supposed to do that. But there are just a lot of people that just don't have social media, and specifically a lot of like cute men that I always want to show you. Whenever I was single, I'd be like, oh my god, he's so hot, let me show you his profile. Doesn't have fucking social media. And I'm like, okay, kind of cool and all, like that you're being on your own, but also I'm trying to show my friends you're cute.
Right.
Also, I don't know if you felt this, but like growing up for me, if your social media wasn't popping, like if you weren't getting the likes, if you weren't getting the follows, or if people weren't writing on your wall or whatever, or if you weren't in someone's MySpace top 5,
Oh my god.
bitch, that was the end of your social career.
Yeah. I remember me and my friend in middle school would tell each other, like, okay, I'm going to go to your place, I'm going to log into your laptop, and you're going to hack my profile.
Yeah.
And you're going to say, hacked by me, smiley face, XD. Like, that was a shit.
I don't know why you're putting our business out there like that. Okay.
We never hacked each other.
We didn't plan it. I remember going to school one day and then someone who I can't name came up to me and was like, hey, did you see that you're not in Kathy's top 5 anymore? And I was like, what are you talking about? But Kathy and I told people that we were cousins because everybody in middle school is ignorant and they were like, oh, all Asians are related. And me and Kathy just got tired of it. And we were like, actually, yes, we are cousins. Like, what's it to you? We went to Thanksgiving together. Yes. Like, whatever. So I was always supposed to be in her top 5 because we were quote unquote family.
Right.
So when I heard that I was knocked out of her top 5 on MySpace, I was devastated. I literally remember running up to her locker and being like, did you change your top 5 last night? And she was like, yeah, I was going to talk to you about it in study hall, and I'm like, yeah, but somebody else already did. I was just devastated. And back then you didn't have like apps on your phone. So I had to wait until the end of the day to get home to sign into my brother's desktop computer and go into my MySpace HTML and manually change out my top 5.
Yeah.
I had to wait the whole
Didn't
day.
they change it to top 10 afterwards?
You could customize it.
Yeah, I remember when it was top 5 specifically. It was so risky to put your crushes page on there.
Oh my God,
Like
I
to
would
have
never.
like to have like your first 4 best friends and then like the last one be like, yeah, you're cute, and just throw them in there.
Is that what you did?
I do think I did it like a couple of times.
Oh my God, millennials are trash. I kind of just have a pet peeve when people say that millennials are disrespectful, because I feel like it's not generation specific. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, that's with anything. That's like anything with stereotypes. It's just not the whole group you're talking about. It's that one person that pissed you off today and you're just upset.
Yeah.
Because that has to do with, like, also, if you're at Starbucks and they get your order wrong, it's okay. Like, you're going to get over it. But if an older woman was a customer and they got her order wrong, she'd throw a fit.
Right.
That's just how it is. Like, it's more, I feel like we're more respectful to people in the workplace.
Yeah.
So we understand what they're going through and they're just, you know, trying to get their job done.
Yes, exactly.
And other people don't.
Like,
So-
anyone that tells me millennials are disrespectful, I want to look them straight in the face and just let them know that I'm aware that they never worked in retail.
Right.
Because-
And I'm like, we put up with so much bullshit that y'all didn't, that we've just grown from it and we know how to respect others because of it.
Literally. I feel like whenever I worked in retail, I got yelled at so many times by just older generations of people. Like, and it was over small things. Like, I literally remember I ran out of nickels in my cash stores, and like it was a Sunday, so the banks were closed, so I couldn't go and get more nickels. And I shorted this lady 5 cents, and I just didn't tell her because it's 5 fucking cents. And she came back in with her receipt and a handful of the change that I gave her, and she's like, "Do you not know how to count? So what? So pennies don't mean anything?" I was like, "Honestly, ma'am, I just didn't think that you would mind if it was 5 cents. If you'd like the 5 cents, I can open up my cash register right now and I'll get you the 5 cents." And she's like, "It's not that you're gonna get me the 5 cents. It's that this is the 5 cents that I'm supposed to have." And it's like, you know what, lady? Valid point, but it was 5 fucking cents.
Yeah.
Like, if that was me, I don't give a shit. She could have shorted me 60 cents. I don't give a fuck.
I barely notice when anything's wrong. I feel like that's my own fault though. I need to double check.
Yeah.
I
double check
change
cash,
back.
but if it's
Yeah,
coins,
yeah. Cash I do.
coins are just problematic to
Right,
me.
you're
Like,
gonna
if
lose
it
them.
feels like it's the right amount in my hand, I'm good.
This feels like 32.
Yeah, it feels like a couple quarters, you know, like, sounds good. But I don't care. Like, if that 5 cents is going to help your register stay even at the end of the day, like, go ahead, sister, go short me the 5 cents, take a couple pennies for yourself. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
But she clearly did. So, I don't know. I don't think millennials are disrespectful. I just think millennials are more tolerant.
Yeah.
You know?
I think so too. 'cause
And I don't
we've
think
dealt
those
with more
two things
bullshit.
really go together, but that's just how I feel. That's what I want the new stereotype to be. Millennials are so tolerant. Like,
Right, like, you know what? Damn right we are. But
That's
not
what I
about
want.
everything.
right. You know what we're not tolerant of?
Abortion bans.
Inequality.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. I actually got into an argument with someone that we went to middle school with today. It wasn't necessarily an argument, but she put an Instagram post up that was like, "I'm pro-choice," or "I'm pro-life."
What's her
Changed
name?
my mind.
Say it, I'll edit it out.
No, she's a nice person. And she presented it in a really nice way. Like, she accepted people's arguments and then she would just give her counter argument. So, like, it was very respectable, but none of her points really explained anything, you
Yeah.
know? Also, like, who's gonna fit? You only get a certain amount of characters when you answer a question box on Instagram. So it's like, you're not gonna be able to fit a whole ass argument, and she's out here typing like pages of shit, and she's like continuing on from the last. And it's like, bitch, I get
God.
90 characters. Like, you are wrong.
Exactly.
RONG. Like, no spaces. But anyways, I actually had a couple questions written down that I think you would offer a lot of really cool insight into.
Oh, all right.
Okay, bitch. So for your first interview question, what makes you proud to be a millennial?
I think.
I agree. So for me,
You know what? And we're done. Thank you so much for watching.
thank you so much, Lady and Confused.
I mean, like we said earlier, I think we're way more respectful and tolerant of others. And we've been in their shoes, I guess, like for the retail part. But we are very outspoken.
Yeah.
And we know what's wrong and right. And just because it was like done before and it was pulled off before doesn't make it happen again.
Right, exactly.
Like, there's a lot of things that the older generation were very accepting of, like anything in the media, about trans, about gay, about fat people, about anything. It's just, they were very accepting of it, and we are not, because we know that's wrong.
Right.
And just because times have changed, you know, ethics are changing, morals are changing, laws are still the same, but they don't have to be.
No, absolutely.
So I think we're just very educated for the age that we are, and we're motivated to make a change, so then we aim for that, and we don't let anybody stop us.
Yeah,
like we're seeing younger and
exactly.
younger people go to like the courthouse and go to City Hall and go speak up for what they believe in, like Planned Parenthood and like the abortion bans and Black Lives Matters, like all of that. They're speaking up for that. So I appreciate that we're the ones that are kind of starting that.
No, I completely agree. Like in my notes, I literally wrote, "We are the generation of change," and I think that that's so powerful. And I feel very, very lucky to be a part of a time where we're gonna see these changes firsthand. Because, like, do you remember reading about women's suffrage, like women fighting for the right to just be able to fucking vote?
Right.
And it's like reading about that in the history books, that's so powerful. And like now that we're in the time that people are going to be reading about in the history book, people are going to read about the time where Black Lives Matter changed a whole fucking society.
Yeah,
mindset.
and that's us. It's going to say
Yeah.
2018 was the year that it happened.
Exactly. And like that's incredible. Like I literally have goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And you can't fucking see it on the podcast, but I'm showing the microphone because I really do. Like I feel so passionate about our generation and everything that we are prepared to stand up for.
Right. And we know the consequences. We know we can get in trouble for it, but we don't care.
Yeah, and it's not even like we're getting in trouble. It's that we're going against the societal grain.
Right.
You
Like,
know?
we don't think we'll get in trouble, but we know that the people who are in charge of, like,
Yeah,
what
like-
gets put out there and,
Like they don't want to hear it.
right.
But I'm a very loud bitch.
Yeah, I think we're all very loud. Even the quiet ones, like, they have loud opinions.
No, exactly. That leads me into my next question. Like, do you think that our generation is going to be the one to create change or to be the one to cause it?
Yeah, I think like what we were saying before, like we are very capable of doing both. Like, we've created a movement. Like it wasn't just millennials, but we have the social media influence. We have the voice to do it. We have the confidence to do it. And we have the mentality like, no, fuck that. I know what's right.
Yeah.
So I think we have the power to create it and to change it if we need to. Because whatever has been done before, we can change it to something that should be done now.
No, exactly. Like, this is going to sound stupid, but I always have the weirdest analogies and I just need you to roll with it. Do you remember in Spy Kids?
Here we are.
Do you
Which one,
remember-
original?
Yeah, the first one. Remember in Spy Kids where Floop made... Stop
You can't,
laughing.
just, you can't just say the character names, like people will know who they are.
You should. Spy Kids is a national treasure.
Floop
Like,
was the one
Floop.
that
He has
he
his
was on
own
the
TV show.
Yes. Okay.
I just did the Floop fan sign on my thigh.
God.
But anyways, so in Spy Kids 1, the original Spy Kids, Floop makes these like robots that are like kids, but then they can't fucking talk, right? Because they don't have the right brain parts or anything. I'm kind of losing my own thought as I explain this analogy out. But we are like the second version of those kid robots that Floop creates, because once they get that fucking brain power, those bitches are crazy. Like, they are on a mission. They're smart as fuck. They are strong-willed as hell. And they don't stop till they get their shit done. We are the second generation of Spy Kids kid robots.
Yeah, it just laid out what our
Yeah.
years would be.
Yeah, also, sorry for the spoiler if you haven't seen Spy Kids. But the third brain lives. That's all I have to say. But, yeah, like, I kind of, word for word, I think you hit it on the nail with my question. It's like, I think we are going to be the generation that does a little bit of both. I think that it's already been shown that we are the generation that's going to create change. Like, getting marriage equality across the board was such a huge deal, and that's honestly just the first step. Like, now...
Yeah, and that was the first movement that I really saw take action.
No, exactly.
'Cause,
I
like,
remember we were at that Pride.
Yeah, we were growing up knowing that, like, it was illegal, and we knew it was wrong. We knew it was
Yeah.
bad. And I remember waking up and seeing the news being like, now it's good.
Exactly.
And I'm like, why did it take so long to realize that love is love? Mm-hmm. But it took people like us to just not shut up about it. And
Oh,
they'd be
yeah.
like, okay, yeah. Because, like, now weed is being legalized because more and more people are talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's mainly millennials because, hello, we're all fucking stoned.
Except for me. I'm a Dare Essay Contest winner, and I have never done drugs. But,
Okay, you
I mean,
sound
I
high
understand.
when you talk about fucking Spy Kids.
Dude, I love Spy Kids, and it's on Netflix now, so if you'd like to see the whole Spy Kids from Spy Kids 1 to 4, it is up. And it only takes about 8.5 hours to binge all of them.
The biggest stan we know.
I am a Spy Kids stan. Like, I'm a down hoe for...
Spy Kids. Yeah, you sure are.
Yeah. But I also think that our generation, some stuff does have to change. Like, I think that social media is way too big of an influence on anybody. And
Yeah.
I think it started with our generation because, social media wasn't around up until like 15 years ago where
Yeah.
social media really took off.
And it wasn't really influential until recently.
Yeah, and if you think about it, it's very scary how influential it is. Like, as an educator, I have firsthand experience. Like, I can see these kids, they come into school and they only want to wear whatever Jake Paul's wearing, or they only want to wear whatever JoJo Siwa puts out. And it's like, that's a very firm grasp on the kid. And that's very, very scary. Like, I'm not even a parent, and I can't even imagine someone else having that kind of control over my kid that's not me.
Yeah, but I do feel like it's more influential on kids and not millennials, though.
Yeah. But no, because even then, people that spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on just fucking shoes because they saw someone in the NBA that doesn't pay for those shoes, mind you, wearing them for one game. And they're like, yep, need to have it. And it's like, that kind of influential grip on somebody is scary.
Yeah, it's super unhealthy.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine if it was like ice cream? Like, oh my God, I saw Mariah Carey eating strawberry ice cream, so now I need strawberry ice cream. Like, can you imagine? Like, right. No, because that's bizarre. And that just like, seems so far-fetched. But that's what's happening.
Yeah, that totally reminds me of all these sponsored deals that everyone on Instagram is having.
Yeah, Sugar Bear Hair, fuck you.
Right, like Sugar Bear Hair Care, what the fuck are you doing?
Honestly, we're all about Halo Beauty.
Are we, though?
No,
I don't believe in any vitamins.
I won't purchase it, except for Ollie Sleep Vitamins. I will purchase.
Right, Ollie Sleep Vitamins are cute because they're gummies.
Yeah. Agreed.
Right. And no one's like, making me want to buy them. It's just Target that has them.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, just sponsored deals like Fit Tea, Flat Tummy Tea, anything that Kardashians use that they don't use religiously. They're just trying to get a coin. Like, I just don't understand it. And people will believe this shit because you follow them on Instagram and they have 1 million followers. Like, they get ad deals. They have to put hashtag ad after every post because it's not right to do that anymore because people are going to believe everything you say. But now you can read the stuff and be like, oh, okay, that's an ad.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I feel like it's so influential. And yeah, that is one of the worst parts about us.
I think it will have to change because, I mean, I hate to say it, but I feel like at some point the government is going to moderate what happens on the internet because the internet has become such a big thing that I don't think anybody thought it would turn into this. Like, we're just two fucking 21-year-olds and we can create a whole podcast and post it on the internet for people to listen to us.
Right.
Like, that's crazy. We have nothing important to say.
We really don't.
We really don't. This is a borrowed microphone and I'm sitting in a fucking empty bedroom that my brother used to live in before he moved out. Like, we as people get to create content and put it out to influence people.
Right.
And it's
because we know how to work a laptop.
Exactly. Like, that's crazy. Like, I feel like we're very educated people in the things we speak on, but there's a fuck ton of people who aren't, who still put out content.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, there's good things and bad things about us, but I am proud to be a millennial.
I am too. At the end of the day, I'm proud to come from a generation that not only seeks change, but demands it.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty powerful. And I can't wait until my kid reads about it in the textbooks and be like, oh my God, Mom, 1997? You're so fucking old.
Like, you know what? Fuck you.
Honestly, Timmy. Like, screw you. But, dude, this was a good episode. I'm very happy with what we said.
Yeah. We were passionate.
Yeah, we could have got so much deeper. We actually crossed off a couple topics, but we'll have to cover it in a different episode.
But we were way more passionate in the next topics that we wanted to say, so just stay tuned.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so definitely shoot us a comment down below with what you thought about some of the things we said today on the podcast. And as always, we'll see you next time. So thank you guys again. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Myra.
And we're just confused.
Bye.